I'm Anil Kumar sharing with you questions from my student. He wants to understand few applications on quadratic equations and I hope that helps you all also. Question here is Peter sells 550 necklaces for $20 each. For each increase of $1, he will lose 2 sales. If he wants to make $13,500, how much should he sell the necklaces for? That's the question for you. So let's try to understand the question. It says, so we have two things. When we have a price for an item, right, then you can, let us say, sell some number of items. Right? So normally what happens is, if you reduce the price more, you can sell. If you increase the price, lesser you can sell, right? So same item, same place we're talking about. So in our case, if the price is $20, in that case, Peter can sell 550 necklaces. So whenever you sell, you get some money out of it, right? So that is called your maybe revenue, right? Normally we say revenue, right? So revenue will be product of these two. So in our case, this revenue will be the price at which you sold the item, which is 20, times the number of items you sold, which is 550, and when you multiply them, you get your revenue in dollars, correct? So we'll use calculator. Let's use the calculator. Maybe easy, doesn't matter. 20 times 550. So it is 11,000. Okay. So if Peter continues to sell for $20, he's going to make 11,000. The question is, he wants to make 13,500. Now, is that possible? Well, the concept is if you reduce the price, you may sell more, right? Or maybe you increase the price, sell less, but since the price is higher, you may get more revenue. So that's the concept. So we have to juggle between all these things, and that is where the quadratic equations come, right? Now it says for each increase in $1. That means if I increase in dollar means plus $1. Is it okay? So if I increase the price from 20 to, let us say 1. So it's all in dollars. Okay, let me write here, dollars. Then he will lose 2 sales. Items sold will be 550 minus 2. Perfect. So basically what we get here is 21 times 550 minus 2 is 548. And let's see what revenue we get, right? So we'll again do this multiplication and see the trend, 548. So it becomes 11,508. It of course increases, right? So it makes a difference. So if you increase the price, even on selling less, you can actually make more money. Do you see that? So that is important. So if you increase by 2, so it says he loses loss of 2 sales. Loss of 2 sales. If you $2, then it will be loss of 4. 2 times 2. Do you understand? This was 2 per dollar. 2 per dollar. Okay. So that means for $22, we could sell 4, take away from 550. So it is 546. And this amount is how much this time? Let's calculate. 22 times 546. It is, oh my God, so 12,012. So it is short to 12,000. So that means we can definitely reach 13,000 if we go with this trend, right? So what we do now here is we try to use quadratic equations. At times it could be cumbersome, right? Okay, so we say now let him increase the price by n times $2. That means n dollars. Is it okay? So if it is increased by n dollars, then the number of sales will reduce by 2 times n dollars, right? I mean 2 times n, the number. N is a number. Okay. It could be 5, 10, 20, who knows? We'll come to know after the calculations. Well, in this case, the revenue will be 20 plus n, that is the price which we have increased by, and the sales reduced, of course, but still we find that the number could increase. Is it important? It could decrease also. So that is what we have. Now somehow we have to make this as equal to 13,500. Do you understand? So that is the equation. So basically we need to find this value of n so that the revenue is 13,500. I now think you have understood the question, right? So you can actually pause the video, solve this equation, right? So you need to multiply, do this thing and find n, right? And then check with my solution. Okay, so now let's continue from here. So it's quadratic equation 20 plus n times 550 minus 2n should be equals to 13,500. So 20 times 550 we found is 11,000. Let me write 11,000 here. Okay. Plus 20 times minus, oh, I wrote plus. So we'll multiply 550 with both. So 550 times n is 550n. Now we'll multiply by minus 2n. So minus 2n times 20, okay. So let's do minus 2n times 20, which is minus 40n, and minus 2n times n is minus 2n square. That should be equals to 13,500, right? So we kind of applied the distributive property, but this time what we did was we multiplied both these terms with 550 first, and then with minus 2n, just to be clear, right? So we did this first and then that, correct? So we got our 4 terms. Now let's combine the like terms, which are these two. Bring this on the left side. Since this is negative, I prefer to bring this to the right side. So it becomes 2n square when we bring it to the right side. So we 2n square, and combine these two and bring them to the right side. 550 minus 40 is 510. It becomes negative when you take it on the right side. Okay, and this one will be, you have to take away 11,000 from 13,500. Okay, let me write 13,500 minus 11,000, okay, equals to 0. So we took all these terms to the right side. Okay, now we have 2n square minus 510n, and that is, when you take away 11, you are left with 2, right? So we have 2,500, okay, equals to 0. You could take 2 common, right? So we have n square minus, dividing by 2, it is 2 times 2 is 4, 10, 10, 2 times 5, 255 is it? So okay, n dividing by 2 plus 1, 250, okay, equals to 0. So that is what you get, correct? So let's confirm. So we have 510 divided by 2, which is 255, and 2,500 divided by 2 is 1,250. Now we have to solve this equation. So we are looking for two numbers whose product should be 1,250 and sum is 255. So what could those two numbers be? This is what we are interested in finding, correct? So 250 and 12. So what we could do is we could use quadratic formula, right? At times it becomes difficult to use factoring using product and sum. We could do that also. Let me show you a technique to use product and sum. So that is to say, we have 1,250 as a product, right? So let me write down its factors. So one could be, when just divide by 10, we get 1, 2, 5, 125 and 10, correct? So these are the two factors, but when you add them, correct? So both we have to take negative since we have this number as negative, then the product will be positive. But when you add them, you get 135. You don't really get 225, correct? So what we can do here is that we probably need the number which is, like, we could do this factor further as 5 and 2, correct? So if I do 5 and 2, then we can have one combination which is kind of like this. Do you see that? Which is this. So that is how much? It is 250 and 5. So 250 and 5 will give you 255. Do you get an idea? So I have avoided the quadratic formula and done this factoring. So I'm showing you a simple technique. So what we get here is we get 2 times n. Both should be negative, right? So both should be negative to give me negative product. I mean this sum. So it is minus 5 times, we combine these two, n minus 250. Is that okay? 250 equals to 0. So that is what we get in factored form. So I hope you have understood this concept also. When big numbers are there, how to factor. It's kind of a good thing to know. So we get this equation. Now when is this equation true? Now this equation is true for 2 values. One, we could have n minus 5 equals to 0. We could have n minus 5 equals to 0. That gives n as 5. Or we could have n minus 250 equals to 0. That gives n equals to 250. Correct? So these are the 2 possible solutions. Well, we may not increase it so high. Possibility is there, right? But this is not practical. So what we will do is we'll stick with this solution of n equals to 5. Is it okay? So what we are saying here is that for n equals to 5, we do have maximum revenue, and n is 5 means what? Increasing the price by $5. The question is, how much should he sell the necklace for, right? So the selling price is this price, 20 plus n. Do you understand? So now let me write down the answer. Is selling price is equals to initial price of 20 plus increased by $5. That means $25 each. To get this, now we solve for that. So to get this revenue of $13,500 in this case, right? So if you could solve this equation, that means $25 here. So if I replace this by 5, then you can confirm. We get 25 here, 25 multiplied by 550 minus 5 times 2 is 540. What do we get? Let us see. Let's check our solution, okay? So 25 times 540 equals to indeed 13,500. Okay, it works, right? So the answer is, if Peter sells each necklace for $25, he'll be able to sell 450 necklaces from the given situation, and the revenue will be as desired, $13,500. I hope that helps you to understand. We took slightly more time in solving this, but I hope that helped you. I am Anil Kumar. You can always share and subscribe my videos. Thank you and all the best.